Hey guys, so yeah, I'm now recording another new cab ride. Again, a short distance, this time on the Glasgow Airport rail link add-on from Glasgow Central station to Glasgow Airport station. Some of this route wasn't actually built in reality, the link from Gilmour Street to the airport, but it's nice to be able to drive it in Railworks. So the only stop on the journey is Gilmour Street, so it's just a short shuttle service. I'm driving a Scotrail livery Class 380, which I personally think is a really nice looking modern train. I know some people who would agree with me on that, but I also know quite a few train fans who would really disagree with me on that. So now just get in the cab, ready to depart. I've had the guard signal. Here we go. Nice grand 15 mph speed limit leaving Glasgow Central station, which I do have to say from looking around a minute ago looks a bit sparse of trains compared to how it looks in reality. And we're following another train for a short distance out of Glasgow Central station, so we'll be riding the yellow signals for a couple of minutes. And the signals in this area are very close together, so I do have to keep an eye out and make sure that I don't trip the emergency brakes. Speed limit's now increased to 20 mph. I now have to assume the next signal is a red until I can see otherwise. So I'll slow down accordingly, and it is a red. And it's just changed to a single amber. Very poor visibility of the track ahead due to the sharpness of this curve. And that was my first actual AWS warning out of Glasgow Central station. For those of you who don't know, when that alarm sounds, I have to cancel it within a few seconds, and if I don't, then the emergency brakes of the train will be applied automatically. That alarm only sounds on yellow or red signals. On a green signal, as you'll hear soon, there's an audible bing sound instead, and I don't have to respond to that. Speed limit's now increased to 60, but I can't actually accelerate to that yet because of the signals. and we have a green signal ahead. So now up to full throttle. Speed limit now 75 miles per hour, which is the highest speed limit I'll get on this journey. Just passing a double-headed Class 37 freight train. We're now racing another Class 380, which is on the slow line to our left, and this is a race that we're definitely going to win. The AWS warning was for a speed reduction to 45 miles per hour, which is coming up just before my stop at Gilmore Street. Slightly unstable frame rates there, unfortunately. That seems to happen when I'm recording videos from Railworks. Now braking for the 45 mile per hour speed limit, and I try to avoid going above notch 2 on the brakes, which is minus 50% on the HUD. That's just purely for passenger comfort reasons. as they would try and do in reality. And we're now coming into Paisley Gilmore Street, the only intermediate stop on this journey. Again, brakes no higher than notch 2, and I also need to try and find where the 4-car stop sign is on the platform, as I'm only a 4-car train. And there's the 3 and 4-car stop sign just on my left. Slightly harder brakes, and then reduce it to notch 1 for a nice smooth stop. So this is Paisley Gilmore Street Station. And I'll be able to depart within about the next 45 seconds. And if I remember correctly, the airport station is about 2 to 3 miles from here. Guard signal, off we go. So the HUD's now telling me it's 1.8 miles to the airport station. And I have a yellow signal with a feather indicator warning me that I'm turning off onto the airport branch in a second. And the speed limit across these points is 30 miles per hour. Had to use slightly harder braking there than I planned. So the line that we're now on actually doesn't exist in reality now that we've turned off. This was proposed but was never actually built. Now slowing down for a 25 mph speed limit, and also having to assume that the next signal is red until I can see otherwise. Okay, so the signal is a single yellow, and I'm cleared into platform 1. Enter the platform at a slow 10 mph, just because I want to make sure that I don't trip the emergency brakes that do a speed check as I enter the platform. And welcome to Glasgow Airport. See just how close to the end I actually stopped. Not too bad. Turn the lights to red on the front of the train, and journey complete. Well, thanks for watching.